So I'm going to put it, some more here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The second one's come out in too big of blobs.
GoPro, stop recording.
Okay, so here is, so this is what it is currently going to look like. So, got the backing plate. This is going to be underneath the backing plate there. This is where all the fiberglass is. This is a 1-inch extension that we have, that we're going to have up on top, make it all look pretty, but that's so that our Nova lift will be a little bit higher since we have such a high rail. The problem is that our deck, our cord deck, is much thicker than that. It is probably half an inch thicker than that. So I went to West Marine and I got longer bolts because that is not long enough. Here's the issue that we have. So this is I think this is a 2.5 inch bolt. I think the next one that they had was 3 inches, which was not going to be enough, not going to be long enough either. And so I ended up getting 4-inch bolts because I didn't have 3.5 inch bolts. We really need like a 3 3/4 inch bolt. There's 2.5 inch bolt, there's a 4-inch bolt. So now it's going to look like this. So it's going to be much bigger. We're probably going to have to cut out another spacer to put on the bottom, because it's going to end up. That's the advantage of having them all done the same way and going on the same bolt each time, is that I can drill them out and they go on not too bad. Okay, so you can see here, this is, now once that goes on, and what I'll do is I'll screw these on all the way down. And that tells us that distance right there, oops, okay, so now it came up a little bit. So that tells us how much we need. That gap right there tells me the additional thing that I need either on the bottom or on the top. We could actually put it on the top. That would actually work. So the question is, and I can also put some washers in here to kind of take up a little bit of space, but it looks like we've got room for about one more half thing. So the question is, do we put that on top or on the bottom? I mean, it's going to be, I guess we could fit it together. Let me think about this. Yeah, so it's got to be decided before it gets bedded. But maybe what we'll do, since we've got this, so this is solid. This is solid right here. It's not going anywhere. Maybe what we'll do is we'll go ahead and assemble the rest of the Nova Lift and kind of see whether this is going to be enough, whether this half-inch thing is going to be enough, or whether, whether this inch height here is going to be enough, or whether I need to add another half-inch by bringing it up to here. So the reason that ideally, because we have such high rails compared to the Nova Lift, ideally the higher that you could get it, the better. However, there are some downloads when this thing has a motor hanging off of it. Because you got the center of gravity out here and you're going off of here, you also, and you're kind of pivoting about this almost, you've also got some side loads in. So I don't want to go too high, because the side loads, if this thing were sitting on the deck, it would be a pure side load on the deck. But because it's sitting up at least an inch and maybe a half an inch, it's a side load on the deck, and it's also a torsion. Life cock, but we're not going to tighten it fully because we don't want to squeeze it all out. And then we are going to let it cure for, remember how long it says to say let it cure. And then we're going to come back tomorrow, I assume, and really tighten it down. At that point, it will have cured. And so at that point, we should be able to really tighten it down. And as long as we don't turn these bolts, we're going to have somebody down below to keep the bolts from turning, because we're actually tightening up top. We should be fine. So that is that. I'm also going to do the same thing to this. So I'm kind of running out of hands here, but let's see. Let's put that right there. Let's just put a bunch of gunk on there. Okay, that is the correct. Ooh, here's one thing we're going to have to remember. Once I get that all covered up, it's not going to be clear where the dot is. So I'm going to do it like this, and then I'm going to flip it aft.
Okay.
Okay, that's how I'll remember, because the dot needs to go forward. So there we go. Just going to wet that whole surface. Get a little bit on the boat there. Try to clean that up. I forget what it takes to clean this up. Could be acetone or something. Okay, we're still good. Still good. Okay, that hopefully will be enough to get it all wetted, and we'll flip it over. So we're going to flip it aft. So we got that all wetted. We're going to flip it aft. We're going to flip it aft, and then hopefully we'll have 3 holes to line up on there. That's probably way too much, but that's okay. Oh good, there we go. Got 3 holes to line up on. Now, of course, I can't see. Oh, boy. These bolts, I have them duct tape in down below, but they are falling down as I put it on. That's not good.
Interconnected, the Pope said.
All right, so these little holes right there.
Hunger for more than 1 billion people without electricity today.
I'll mark the other one. Can't get to it, but I'll mark it on the other side. Those are actually going to be drilled out, and the pop rivet goes in there to kind of keep that base from turning, to keep this from turning. The base won't turn because of this. Those pop rivets don't bear any weight. They don't bear any force, but they just keep it from rotating. So let me pop this out. Pop this out.
The administration has released more than 1,000 pages of documents as part of the lawsuits by more than 2 dozen
Actually, I think I'm going to do it like this.
against the new 2020 census citizenship question. Congress Huntsville Wong reports the documents include emails from the Kansas Secretary of State, Chris Cabo.
Chris Cabo once helping President Trump's controversial commission to investigate voter fraud. Newly released documents show that he shared his support for adding a census citizenship question to the Trump administration months before the Justice Department submitted
40. Hopefully I can get a tiny bit instead of, yeah, that's good enough. And then we're going to start, kind of see what happens. You got that little hole that it's going to stay in, that's good. We're actually getting some metal shavings, that's good. Oops. Well, it's working.
They're also, as a hint, getting rid of the ball game. Miss America? Yes, the Miss America ball. After years of people saying that it was sexist and humiliating to make women strut around in high heels and bikinis for money, the Miss America ball has said no more for you gentlemen, that's like a normal size of a person, but like it's going to be like all very, very attractive young women who just don't have to wear bathing suits. Well, that's
back.
You admit that it's a beauty pageant, or forget the whole idea and let anybody decide what the title. In which case, it will just be like a televised job interview with a theme song.
I'd be into that.
You would?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's not enough about, the humiliation of going forward for a job. What better than to broadcast it? Or to give me scores live in front of a, national TV or whatever.
Sure. Didn't it say, too, that the women can now, like, they can wear something that they think is comfortable to them, that they feel like looks, I bet there's a sneaky woman who's like, I look pretty good in a bikini, I'm gonna wear that. Yeah, the real Miss America should be like a working mother, 5 kids who has to take like 3 buses to get to her job or something like that. No. Wait for it, but he got a perfect score.
Good, so we're through. Not all the way through, really, because we gotta hit, yeah, we want to keep those off the floor.
Yeah.
He is being praised this week around the world for single-handedly cleaning up a mess in his own country. I think it was, man.